We'll be discussing the dependency theory. Going by the definition, as you can see here, we know that there are two kinds of states. One is the developed one, which has a lot of wealth, technology, modern uses and implications, and it is a very modern state. On the other hand, there are other countries which are not as developed, and what happens is the resources they flow from the underdeveloped countries or the poor countries to the core countries. Core countries are the strong countries which are wealthy, and this happens at the expense of the former because one is benefiting, that is the core country, and the periphery is bearing the consequences and it remains underdeveloped. Now, this theory is on the lines of Marxist theory, which was developed in the 1960s as a criticism of the modernization theory. They said that not only the modernization theory is very one way looking, but it is important to know that development is not always on one level. There are many phases of development and there is also underdevelopment. So it looks as the world system which is created through globalization. So in the 1960s, the dependency theory and also the world system theory came into existence. So this theory focuses on the unequal relationship that prevail in the world system. Now, when we talk about system, there are two kinds of system which are talked here. First is the system of exploitation of labor. Labor which is readily and cheaply available in the periphery states, they are exploited by the core countries which are wealthy and strong. And the system of states, that is the norms and rules that are created which favors the polarization, which favors the north states which are already wealthy and which do not favor the south states which are not as developed. Coming to the conceptual analysis of this theory, this is an international relations theory and it examines the relation and also the interaction that is between the two global states, north and global south states. North states, as we just developed, can be like America, which are developed and which basically produce. And the south states like Latin America, which have abundance of raw material and labor, but they cannot themselves produce because of the lack of technology and therefore they are dependent on the north states. It is important to know that there is a history of colonialism in dependency theories, due to the impact of imperialism and colonialism, some of the countries were held back and the ruling countries, which were already the rulers, they kept on progressing. Another aspect of this was isolation, which worked as a route for development for which countries? For countries like China. Now coming to the features of this theory, first feature is there are two sets of states. It can be called with different names like the dominant state and the dependent state, the center state and the periphery state, or the metropolitan or satellite state. We have discussed all of this in various theories that were given by the respective thinkers. You can just watch the videos. Second is assumption that external forces are of utmost and singular importance to the economic activities within the dependent states. External forces can be like the role of MNCs, the role of communication, the role of technology, which are of utmost importance and due to which, that is, they determine the economic activities which happen within the dependent state. Relations between the dominant or the core and dependent or the periphery states are dynamic. They are dynamic because these two states, they have unequal patterns of interaction and it keeps on changing according to the situations that are present. Now some of the influential factors which determine what kind of economic activity and production will be there and how the system affects them can be communication, world trade mechanism, international financial system, transfer of military links and so on and so forth. So you can see that they are all based on technology, how a state has adapted and come in terms with the new and modern technology. It has become one of the influential factors. So in conclusion, we can say that dependency theory, it attempts to explain the present underdeveloped state of many nations in the world. It talks about the present scenario because it has already traced the history of it, that colonialism has a part, but it explains the present situation of what is underdeveloped and why it is still underdeveloped. Now, how does this theory do that? It examines the patterns of interaction among the nations. What kind of interaction is there? By interaction, I mean that one country is dependent on the other country for production of raw materials. For example, if Latin America has the resources but it does not have the machinery to produce it, so it has a dependency relationship with a core periphery, with a state that is more powerful, which has more and modern technology. This theory also argues that inequality among nations is the intrinsic part of these interactions. The interactions which are there, it talks about how there is an inequality among the nations. That is why there is so much variation, because one is producing for themselves and the other has cheap labor and only resources which cannot be procured. It is also said that this theory is losing its significance in the modern time because, in the long term, dependency theory does not have enough evidence or enough to explain that why some countries are developed and others are still developing. But they have suggested that the way out of this dependency for an underdeveloped nation, how can they come out of this dependency, is to escape from the global capitalist system, because the capitalist system which is working on a global level, it is huge, it is vast, and it is important to escape from it. So once you escape from it, the master servant relationship with the richer countries, where the richer countries are the master and the poor countries are the servant, this relationship has to be done with. This relationship should not continue. And the country, the poor country, the dependent country should take actions itself and should not rely on outside help, which is also that developing countries are also doing, which are trying to manufacture and produce goods on their own. They're coming up with their own technology, their own ways. Example is how Make in India and Atmanirbharta in India, they are encouraging how we should be self reliant and we should not rely on others for help. It also rejects the assumption that capitalism is the best means of economic development. It is not true that when you give power in the hands of solely the wealthy nations, only then the economic development will be there. It is wrong. And it argues that participation is important. Participation by who? Participation by the poor countries in international economics, so that they can come out of this trap of dependency and subordination, which is by the wealthier states. Let us discuss some questions. Question number 1 is, dependency theory was developed to explain. So the answer will be A, persistent poverty in Latin America since the 19th century. This is very important. Please remember this. Second question is, which model of economic and social development explains global inequality in terms of historical exploitation of poor societies by the rich ones? So the answer will be B, dependency theory. The historical exploitation is understood by colonialism, where the poor societies were exploited by the rich societies, and it is still going on today. I hope you got this lecture. Thank you very much for watching.